Describing Canada's housing crisis has become increasingly challenging, given its severity and the lack of progress in addressing it. Canadians face the highest housing costs compared to other developed countries in the G7, prompting rightful frustration and concern. While there are potential policy solutions to this crisis, deciding on which options to pursue remains a challenge. Canada's housing crisis stems from a significant disparity between housing demand and supply. To restore affordability by 2030, an estimated 5.8 million new homes are needed nationwide. The report of the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, CMHC, underscores the need for over 22 million housing units by 2030 to attain housing affordability nationwide, an increase of 3.5 million units from the current National Housing Plan. However, current projections suggest that Canada is on track to build less than half of that. Addressing this gap will necessitate substantial increases in investment, labor, materials, or productivity improvements, but above all, it requires political will. Yet, reaching a consensus on how to tackle the problem remains elusive. Broadly, there are three options, each with its own trade-offs. First, expanding outward by creating new neighborhoods at the periphery of existing communities, as has been Canada's historical approach. However, this would require using more land for housing, potentially encroaching on farmland or rural areas. Second, growing upward by increasing housing density within existing urban areas, which would necessitate significant changes to established neighborhoods. Third, slowing population growth, which would entail revisiting immigration policies, but also poses complex demographic and economic challenges. Despite public support for increasing housing density in cities, many Canadians are resistant to changes in their own neighborhoods. This lack of clarity on preferred solutions means that the status quo persists, exacerbating the housing crisis. In addition to domestic factors, external influences like investor speculation and immigration contribute to the housing affordability crisis. While some measures have been taken by the government to dampen demand and encourage home construction, they have yet to significantly impact prices. It is also believed that this shortage unfolds against the backdrop of record immigration levels in Canada, sparking concerns among Canadians and newcomers alike. The apprehension is that rapid population growth is driving up demand, depleting supply, and escalating prices to a point where homeownership becomes unattainable. However, attributing the housing crisis solely to an influx of immigrants is a matter of contention. While both the government and economists maintain that immigration isn't the sole culprit, they advocate for caution and balance in addressing the issue. Affordability emerges as a central challenge in the housing crisis. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, CREA, the average home price surged to $668,754 in July 2023, marking a 6.3% increase from July 2022. This escalation, particularly pronounced in Ontario and British Columbia, impedes homeownership for many Canadians and newcomers, with home prices averaging $856,269 and $966,181, respectively, in these provinces. While some attribute rising home prices to increased immigration, a report by the Royal Bank of Canada, RBC, attributes the housing shortage to heightened residential construction costs. The report notes a 51% surge in the price index since the onset of the pandemic in 2020, driven by shortages in skilled labor, raw materials, and increased input costs. Despite differing viewpoints, the government continues to advocate for high immigration levels as part of the solution to the housing crisis. With aims to admit up to 500,000 new permanent residents annually by 2025, Canada endeavors to bolster its population. Housing affordability remains a top concern for newcomers and Canadians alike, with government officials emphasizing the importance of expanding the national labor force to address the crisis. However, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau asserts that housing primarily falls under provincial jurisdiction, urging provinces to intensify efforts in constructing affordable housing. Economists advocate for a balanced approach, emphasizing the need for skilled workers in alleviating the housing shortage. While immigration can play a role, concerns persist regarding the pace of immigration growth and its impact on housing shortfalls. Recommendations include addressing labor force gaps and facilitating accreditation processes for newcomers already in Canada. In conclusion, addressing Canada's housing crisis necessitates a multifaceted approach, balancing immigration policies, labor force strategies, and housing affordability initiatives. While skilled newcomers can contribute to increasing housing starts, long-term solutions require comprehensive measures that align with the evolving needs of Canada's housing market.